For over 20 years, a prison was being built. Not a prison made of steel, but of notifications, algorithms, and digital addiction. A prison you cannot see, but one that controls you. Your mind, your interests, your decisions, your emotions. They were building the trap, and you thought you were choosing. This isn't a story about apps or technology. It's the story of how the most powerful system ever created was designed to hijack your awareness while keeping you entertained. Now, I'm taking you on a journey through a time machine, across decades and turning points, to show you exactly how this digital system was built and how it was programmed to serve them, not you. From the first satellite in space to the moment your phone decides what you see, step by step, phase by phase, we'll dismantle the plan that began with fear, evolved into code, and became a transparent prison called the internet. Get ready, because once you see the full picture, there's no going back. On October 4th, 1957, the Soviet Union launched a small, metallic object into Earth's orbit. It was called Sputnik 1, a shiny aluminum sphere, roughly the size of a football, with 4 antennas sticking out of it. So what exactly did it do? No cameras, no surveillance equipment, just a simple task. It transmitted radio pulses on 2 fixed frequencies, 20.005 and 40.002 megahertz. The purpose? To prove that a satellite could operate in space, to test how radio signals behaved as they passed through Earth's atmosphere, to allow ground stations to track its orbit, and ultimately to demonstrate the success of the R-7 rocket that launched it. It was basic. It beeped, and that was enough to terrify the West, because behind that beep was a message. We're in space now, and we got here first. America was stunned. The Soviet Union had just taken the lead in the ultimate technological showdown. Sputnik wasn't just a satellite, it was a message. You're no longer number one. And the result was a national panic, screaming headlines, and a full-blown political and scientific crisis. In January 1958, President Dwight D. Eisenhower made a move, not with missiles, but with minds. He created a brand new agency within the Department of Defense. They called ARPA, the Advanced Research Projects Agency. The official founding date was in February 7, 1958. The first director was Roy Johnson, a former General Electric executive. Not a general or a scientist, but a businessman. And the mission is, ensure the U.S. would never again be caught off guard by technological surprises. Fund cutting-edge, high-risk, high-reward research. Stay ahead, way ahead, in the race for the future. ARPA wasn't your typical government agency. It wasn't the military. It was something in between, a government-funded lab for wild ideas. It has a role. If an idea seemed impossible, ARPA was the place to try it anyway. In its early years, ARPA focused on missile defense, space-based technology, early computing, artificial intelligence. But in the late 1960s, the agency was confronted with a question that would change everything. In the late 1960s, researchers at ARPA were haunted by one critical question. If a nuclear attack destroys a central communication hub, how can we keep our networks alive? Back then, most communication systems were centralized, meaning if the main center was knocked out, the whole system would collapse. So a radical new idea emerged. Build a decentralized network where every node could talk to every other node directly, even if large parts of the system were destroyed. That project was called ARPANET. Its goal sounded simple on paper, but it was massively ambitious in reality. Create a distributed computer network that allows data sharing between research institutions and military sites. The project began in 1966. Proposed by Lawrence Roberts, a computer scientist at ARPA, the concept was inspired by the work of Paul Barron, a RAND Corporation researcher who first proposed a method called packet switching. The core idea is, instead of sending one big message all at once, you break it down into small packets, each taking its own route across the network, and reassemble them at the destination. Packet switching was revolutionary because it made the network flexible, able to reroute around damage and keep functioning under stress. The first successful connection on ARPANET happened on October 29, 1969, between UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, and Stanford University. The researchers tried to send the word login, But the system crashed after just 2 letters. So the first message ever sent over the internet was simply "LO." And from that moment, humanity quietly stepped into a new era, one where everything would eventually be connected, even if no one back then had any idea just how far it would go. In the 1970s, ARPANET was up and running, but it was a small, exclusive network. It connected research labs, universities, and government institutions. No general public, no businesses, no ads, just scientists sending data. But behind the scenes, something bigger was brewing. The internet, as we know it today, wouldn't exist without 3 key shifts. A unified protocol to connect different networks, separation from military control, opening the gates to private companies and individuals. In 1973, ARPA researchers began developing a new protocol, one that would allow any network in the world to talk to any other, regardless of structure or system. That protocol became TCP and IP, the Transmission Control Protocol and Internet Protocol, the true foundation of the modern internet. It was officially adopted on January 1st, 1983, a date many now consider to be the true birth of the internet. In that same year, ARPANET separated from the U.S. Department of Defense and was split into 2 networks: MILNET for military communications, ARPANET for civilian academic use. But like any invention born in labs, the internet wasn't going to stay there forever. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, a new wave was rising. Private companies wanted in. In 1989, restrictions on commercial use of the internet were officially lifted. By 1991, the first commercial internet services were offered to the public. But back then, the internet wasn't exactly exciting. Just text, black screens, and command lines. No images, no pages, no real experience. That changed with one man, Tim Berners-Lee, who invented something simple but world-shaking, the World Wide Web. In 1993, the first graphical web browser launched, Mosaic. Soon after came Netscape, and then the explosion. As soon as the internet became user-friendly, companies swarmed it like locusts. Banks, universities, stores, newspapers, everyone went online. But there was one company that wasn't just trying to share content. It wanted to watch every move you make. By the mid-1990s, the internet felt like a brand new city being built. Everyone was creating websites, sharing ideas, exploring freely. But a dark financial question haunted the early tech world. We're giving everything away for free. How do we actually make money? The answer came quickly, and it was terrifying in its simplicity. We don't have to sell content. We can sell the people who consume it. The first company to truly grasp this model was a small startup at the time called Google. It was founded in 1998 by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. Its original mission was to build a smart search engine that organizes the world's information. But within a few short years, Google was laying the groundwork for something bigger. Not just search, but controlling attention. In 2000, Google launched a new platform, Google AdWords, and this marked a turning point in the history of the internet. For the first time, businesses could pay to show ads to specific people at specific times with almost terrifying precision, based on what those people were searching for. Every search, every word became a marketing signal, a currency. That's when a new philosophy was born. Attention is currency. The user isn't the customer. The user is the product. And behind the scenes, Google was building an empire, not just offering free services, but quietly collecting billions of data points on every user. What you search, what you write in your emails, what videos you watch, where you go using Google Maps, even your real-time location through Android devices. All of it became fuel for a massive machine designed to do one thing: keep the user focused, so we can show more ads and make more money. After Google proved that attention was profitable, a second wave arrived. One that didn't just collect your focus, but pulled you into a parallel world. A world where you voluntarily gave away your time, emotions, and identity for free. In 2004, a young man named Mark Zuckerberg launched a simple website for Harvard students, Facebook. The idea was let people share their own data, their photos, their relationships, their thoughts, their feelings, even their real-time location. But there was a key difference between Google and Facebook. Google collects data based on what you search for. Facebook lets you document your life, yourself. Facebook wasn't just a social platform. It was a goldmine of data built in plain sight. The more users joined, the more data was harvested, and the more revenue was generated. In 2007, Facebook allowed third-party apps inside the platform, and companies began marketing directly within it. That same year, Facebook launched its own advertising tool, Facebook Ads. This marked the true beginning of the battle for your attention, and the war was heating up. Twitter aimed to control the real-time moment. Instagram kept your eyes glued to people's lives, and TikTok rewired visual addiction altogether. Each platform, each algorithm had the same mission: keep the user online, and we'll make the profit. But all this came at a cost. Not just your attention, but your mental health, your identity, your relationships, and even your sense of reality. They put you in a trap. Not a physical trap, but a mind trap. In the early days, you opened the internet to search for what you wanted. Now, you open the internet and it chooses for you. From the first thing you see on your homepage to the next video in your feed, everything is chosen by an algorithm. And the algorithm isn't random. It's designed with one clear mission: keep your attention by any means necessary. If you like comedy, you'll get flooded with funny clips. Watch one video filled with rage or outrage, you'll get 10 more, even angrier. Pause on a conspiracy theory, the algorithm will drag you down the rabbit hole into a world of doubt, paranoia, and fear. It doesn't just know you, it starts to predict you. It feeds you exactly what will keep you scrolling, even if it means twisting your sense of reality. Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, they all run on algorithms that learn from every tiny action. How long you watch, whether you scroll or pause, what catches your eye, what you like, whose profile you click. Every tiny movement becomes a tool for influence. And the result is, you're not choosing anymore. You're being guided. The algorithm chooses your opinions. It chooses the people you see. It even chooses what you start to hate. Instead of expanding your mind, technology builds a bubble around you. The longer you stay inside, the more it learns, the more money it makes, and the easier you are to control. We all logged onto the internet thinking we were using free services. Facebook, Instagram, Google, TikTok, it's all free. But the truth, none of it was ever free. There's a golden rule in the digital world. If the service is free, you are the product. What happens behind the scenes is unsettling. Every word you type, every photo you upload, every click, like, comment, scroll, and share, it's all tracked, and it's all for sale. Big tech wasn't selling apps. They were selling your behavior, your psychological patterns, and even your unconscious interests. And to collect more data, they needed to keep you online as long as possible. They made the like button addictive. Notifications glow red to hijack your focus. They created infinite scroll. They engineered platforms to be habit-forming without you even realizing it. You're not paying with money. You're paying with your attention, mental health, mind, and make them money. All of it, so they can sell a few seconds of your focus to the highest bidder. You became a product on display, and your value depends on how easily you can be influenced. You might think this is all about ads, profits, and tech companies trying to make money. But the truth? It goes much deeper. When you control the attention of millions, you can change their opinions. When you change their opinions, you can influence their decisions. And when you influence decisions, you can shape entire nations. And that's exactly what happened. In 2016, the world was shaken by one of the biggest digital scandals in history, the Cambridge Analytica case. A British data analytics firm secretly harvested Facebook user data, analyzed personalities, and created personalized political content designed to sway people's votes. The idea was chilling. Identify someone's psychological profile. Feed them specific narratives. Trigger emotional responses. Fear, anger, hope. Make them act, while they believe it was their own choice. This psychological warfare was used in the 2016 US presidential election, the Brexit referendum in the UK, and political campaigns across Africa and Asia. In short, if you want to reshape the world, you don't need a revolution. You just need to control the trending topics. Governments, corporations, institutions, they all started using the same tools. Algorithms, data, your attention. Not just to sell a product, but to shape the reality you live in. For years, we lived in an illusion. We thought we were choosing. We thought we were free. We thought we were searching. But the truth, we were being driven. In a world filled with platforms, each one competing for your attention, each one rewarding addiction and outrage, something was quietly being drained from you, your awareness. But one question separates being a victim from taking the power back. Can you notice what's happening to you? Can you watch yourself? Can you reclaim your mind? It's not about quitting your phone. It's not about vanishing from the internet. It's about seeing the system for what it is. When you open an app, ask, who profits from me being here? When content appears, ask, why this? And why now? When you feel sudden anger, sadness, or joy, who wanted you to feel that? We're not against technology, but we must realize, technology isn't always on our side. Nothing you see is accidental. Nothing that shows up in your feed is random. And anyone who controls your attention controls your future. Always remember, in the attention economy, awareness is resistance, and consciousness is the first step towards freedom.